Welcome back to Mother. In the last part, Queen Mary gave us our objective. To find the 8 melodies. They are scattered all across the land, and by all across the land, I mean a few areas that kind of happen to be near your home or something.
So not quite as all across the land as one might think. Oh,
Yeah.
these are little tunnels. Okay,
I think it's
like
left,
ties.
right, right, left. No, it's not. It's right, left, right. I got it wrong.
Left, right.
I mean, you know, they're kind of similar, so it's easy
Yeah.
to get someone like that confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right, left, right that you're supposed to go in. Worth noting that this place was actually a goddamn maze in the Japanese version, and it was simplified in the localization.
Oh man.
That was, unlike other localizations that this patch reverted back to the Japanese version, like the censorship. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, that was censorship that they got rid of. This is just something to make the game easier to get through. And honestly, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that, especially since this is not the only time we'll be here.
Yeah, mazes, for no particular reason and without any hints to help get through them, are truly frustrating in my opinion.
I mean,
and unnecessary.
Not to mention that you can't exactly do something here that I do with a lot of mazes, which is like go from the end and go back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I kind of prefer doing it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know why it feels easier, it just does.
It may actually be, like, I'm not sure what's really going on behind it, but I know that when I used to do them that way as well.
Yeah. Anyway, by the way, did you see that sleeping dragon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Don't
gonna
wake it
be
up.
that's gonna be important for later. But we can't do it. Like, we can't even wake it right now. We're not strong enough.
Mm.
Oh, hey, it's the Groucho.
Groucho. Look at its mustache.
You see, the thing is, it's supposed to be like a grouch face or whatever. But, okay, these guys are really good just because of that. If you just kind of leave them alone and then they say hello and walk away, you get a shit ton of experience. More so than you would just by fighting it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's convenient.
But anyway, like, I know it's supposed to be like a grouch face, but how I saw it, like when I first saw it, was actually just like a little squid-looking thing, or like a jellyfish or whatever. There are a lot of enemies in this place that look like faces, or to be specific, just eyes. Like there's the Watcher, there's the Mom's Eyes, which is the Washer, which is the Watcher, but with eyelashes that stick up. And the Dad's Eyes, which is the Watcher, but with like bushy eyebrows.
Oh, bushy eyebrows, of course.
I think the Dad's attacks are really strong, while the Mom can do continuous attacks.
Okay.
Like, I don't remember the details. The enemies here, like with the exception of Magicant, are kind of uninteresting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, you just kind of... If you try to be nice to this guy, he won't let you pass. You have to, Yeah, like, if you say yes to ignoring him, he'll leave you. He'll let you go through, but if you say no to ignoring him, he'll continue to block your way. I'm not sure what his purpose is, it just is.
Yeah, so you just don't want to keep bothering him?
Yeah.
If you want him to let you through?
Right.
Gotcha.
Anyway, we are now in a completely different area. It actually is meant to resemble, or it's actually, the neighboring town of Podunk called Marysville.
Marysville, okay. Go down the hill, there you go. Oh, what's that building? Oh, never mind, we're going away from it.
I was about to, search for the, name Marysville, but then I remembered, that the translation of the encyclopedia that I'm using is actually using the Japanese names of towns, and, well, they have different names. In the Japanese version, all the towns are named after holidays.
So like this one, like Merry Christmas?
No. Marysville in the Japanese version is called Thanksgiving.
Oh, so like, oh, the actual holiday name, not just alluding to it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Podunk is called Mother's Day.
Oh, wow, clever.
I will be using the localized names all the way through simply because I know them better. Also, I don't know, for some reason using holidays as names for all the towns makes me cringe a little. Like, I'll probably bring up the Japanese name of a town once, and that's it, but...
But
yeah, anyway.
Besides, we're playing the game that uses the localized version, and so we might as well continue to use it when we talk about it.
Yeah, all it changes is all it does is remove the censorship. Other than that, it's kind of the same.
Right.
Anyway, Thanksgiving is a peaceful, plentiful town with its own set of city cares. With 2 factories, one large, one small on the outskirts, the town in this area is more commerce prosperous. Even when speaking of the town's history, one cannot leave out the name of Mr. Goldrich Duncan. In a nutshell, Mr. Duncan, who was said to have struck oil in the south, set his sights on the goodness of an area we call along the railroad, and moved to Marysville in the mid-1950s. Since then, he has used his rich funding power to begin construction on 2 factories to the south and north of the town successively, and loaning this spending power largely to such things as the maintenance of Marysville's Main Street in the middle of town, and the fulfillment of medical and educational institutions. He has changed the face of what it was. Back then, no more than a little hick town. This burg being called by the alternate name Duncanstown. You could say it's no wonder that with his longtime community standing, Mr. Duncan has more seniority than even the mayor. However, in answer to these most recent plans to build a strip theater, the townspeople are raising their voices in opposition, and this given, Mr. Duncan's power, together with his seniority, seems to be beginning to waver somewhat. So, are you against the building of a strip theater? Well, I'd assume you would be.
Yeah. I'm pretty indifferent.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, if you want to.
I guess the big issue is that you could be using the town's budget on better things.
That's a good point. I guess if it were to be built, I feel like it should be a private business thing.
Anyway, yeah, this is the Sweets little factory that we're in, and we just need to get, there's just a little item that we need to get out of it.
Okay. Definitely has that factory atmosphere. Hey, it's the bloody-footed rat.
I love his innocent eyes, though.
You just killed it in one... Oh, not killed it. Okay, you quieted it, quote-unquote, in one hit.
Okay, here's a description of the sweet little factory, by the way. It's a factory with a dark past that bellies its cute name. After you finally manage to slip out of Magicant, you'll likely catch sight of a white, modern-looking factory below the cliffs on your left. You'll be paying this place for which for whatever reason is known by the charming name of Sweet Little Factory, a visit shortly. After you check out... Well, I mean, I'll get into that a little bit. I decided to do this sooner because, get out of the way. Your objective of getting your hands on a bottle rocket becomes clear pretty soon. That's what we're trying to do. And you should brace yourself and rush in. Of course, I say that, but the enemies here aren't all that tough. Incidentally, even ever since the large factory on the north underwent a drastic conversion to high-tech 5 years ago, this small one in the valley fell into disuse. But before then, it was known as the leading missile manufacturer throughout all of America. They say that when the factory was built, our Mr. Duncan got this plot of land on the cheap from the United States government during a disposal sale, and in exchange he agreed, behind closed doors, to produce weapons, or something to that effect. What brought the defense contractor and the nation together may have been an ordinary thing, but you can maybe perceive such a fishy past from this factory now. Keep in mind, Mr. Duncan moved in here around the 1950s, which means this factory was probably built around World War II.
Okay.
And that would explain why they were manufacturing weapons, no doubt.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It definitely would be used to manufacture weapons during that time period. The industrial boom and everything, and getting out of the Great Depression and whatnot.
Yeah. Hard to believe it was a war that got us out of there.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
I mean, okay, I don't mean to sound all American pride here or whatnot, but honestly, things could have gotten... Things probably would have gotten a lot worse if America hadn't stepped in.
Yeah, I'm not too much for World War II buff, so I can't really answer that question.
I don't know too much of the details myself, but I mean, just based on the information that I've gotten from my history class, that's kind of the interpretation that I've made.
Yeah.
Then again, my history class might have been biased with all, American pride anyway, so I don't really know.
Yeah. Our textbook's maybe a bit biased. The rat became quiet.
I remember my friend Nolan told me that in 6th grade he went to like a Christian school for whatever reason, but he did not like it in the slightest, so he ended up going to the same public middle school as just about everyone else the next year. But apparently, like they were describing America as like the heroes who like saved the world from the evil Germans or whatever. Which was like if you want biased textbooks, I think that's about as biased as it gets.
And that's interesting how a Christian school would be like that. I do find it interesting how some different the word, I don't know, categories. It's not the right word, but I'm going to use that word because I can't think of anything else. Categories of Christianity do tend to conflate. Or tend to be conflated with nationalism as well, which
Christianity
I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm not going to get into that.
I don't know.
It's definitely not a nationalism is definitely not a defining trait of Christianity, but it's unfortunate that some categories of it practice that.
In a sense, I'm not too surprised. I mean, Christianity has a pretty bad name right now, but still.
Which is also unfortunate because it's those fringe categories that give it a bad name.
Like I don't mean to offend anyone when I'm saying this, honestly. Like I mean, I should probably, I'm probably treading some pretty thin ice by saying this stuff, but you honestly just can't help but assume. I don't know, it's weird.
I disagree on many, many levels, but I don't think this is the place for this debate.
Yeah.
So what are we doing right now?
Well, like I said, we went in here to get a bottle rocket, now I just got one, so I'm just gotta leave. We're gonna leave now. I really like the factory theme. Like, specifically this part that's playing right here.
The absence of the drum line definitely adds for a different atmosphere.
And also that, like, sound that it's doing.
Yes. Adds to the factory atmosphere as well.
I mean, you can hear it more than I can because I have the volume turned way down so that the recording doesn't pick it up, but still.
I actually have the volume turned. The volume isn't pretty loud on mine just because your voice is pretty loud, and so it's kind of drowning out a lot of the sound of the music. So I have to pay attention really carefully if I'm trying to listen to the music.
That's understandable. I'm gonna say this a lot of times, but the soundtrack to the Mother series is just amazing.
It really is. I like the main theme a lot. It's definitely one that I wouldn't mind having playing for a while, and in whatever room I'm in, I feel like it'd be pretty relaxing.
One of those songs that just like can go on for a while and not get tiring.
Yes, I feel like RPG games are so good at creating music like that, and it's just great.
Next time on Smash Team Games, well, this is the Twinkle Elementary School. We'll discover that next time.
All right.